Hi, everybody, for joining us on YouTube. I'm laughing because this is the second time I've tried to start the recording on this. We are painting an orange and purple forest, misty forest on a 140-pound cold press. I've gotten started already. Let me show you what we've got so far. There it is. So the steps that you've missed are that I wet the whole paper, and then I put Hansa Yellow Medium or Bumblebee Yellow all over all of it, leaving the center to the right area a little bit lighter. And then I added Permanent Rose to the yellow, to the Bumblebee or Hansa Yellow Medium, and made orange. Just using my 3/4 inch flat brush, I added the orange into all the spots that I see orange in that picture, just ignoring all the purple. So I was just painting the orange background.
We can't hear you, Mary Kay. You're muted, I think.
Now I'm unmuted, so now you can hear
Oh,
me.
okay.
I'm sorry, I'm not very good at this today. So what I'm going to do now is just use my orange paint and my number 10 round brush, and I'm going to add in the very far
Turn up your volume.
the very far back orange trunks. I just turned up the volume. I've got orange paint loaded in my brush, and I'm looking to see where these orange trunks are in the far background. And I want these to be very pale, so I'm adding water to my orange paint, touch my paper towel, and I can see a couple right in here. I'm going to start them there's about 1/3 of the way up. Just putting some little ones in. Maybe that's just maybe a little too pale. Oh, that's maybe a little dark. Somewhere in between those two. And then here's another one, but I don't want it to be, that was good. It was a little crooked. I'll just touch this one so it's paler. And then what I want to do is put in some bushes that are the same color as that tree trunk. And add paint with a little water. And I see one right in here. So again, this is very pale paint. Now I'm going to start it from this sort of soft lines in here. And I'm going to add more bushes and mist just by making little circular motions and adding water at the bottom. And there's I don't know, there's some littler ones in here too. Now's the time to put these little light ones in. I'm going to have the big purple one coming up right here, but back in here I can have a few skinny ones. They go right out the top of the painting. All these trees go all the way out. And then that one has a little soft bushes and water. I can add a few light branches right now. Exact same value to these guys. So these trees, I'm touching the paper with just the tip of the brush, just barely, and letting it sort of, holding it loose, and then that way it doesn't make a straight line. I'm not making a straight line, I'm making a kind of a jiggly line. And then I can make those separate, or you can have a couple that maybe come up and down and over. So now's a good time to put in these very light orange branches and twigs. And I'm also going to put in some very, very light orange foliage with a sponge. So the last time I used this sponge, I used indigo, and I really cleaned it out with soap and water with Dawn's soap. So if you've been using your sponge with indigo last, be careful. Make sure it's clean. So there's my sponge. It's got a little orange paint in it. Oh, that's way too bright. Needs a little bit more water. Every time I touch the sponge, I twist it a little bit and I rearrange the pieces of sponge. So I go that way, then I twist it, then I bend it. So each time I'm touching the paper, I'm getting a slightly different pattern. These are the way far away foliage. And the amount of water that I'm painting with for both the little branches and now the foliage with the sponge is the same value as the tree trunks. So these are very pale. You can add some leaves here in the bottom. This is too white. I can just put a few in there. The next step is going to be the purple and orange trees. All the trees, branches, and foliage that are not this big purple one in front. So I do need to make a little bit of light purple paint. And the way that I'm going to make that is French ultramarine blue. I don't want any yellow in this, any yellow or orange in my French. Get me clean water. Try that again. So French ultramarine blue and permanent rose. So I get the color I want. There, that's just about it. And I want to have a lot of water with that to start with. So I made purple. And I'm going to start over here with this tree because this one is, I just want to kind of practice first. So I see where the trunk starts. It starts lower than any of those orange ones did, but not as low as this big one's going to start. So I'm going to say like about right here. And it's not straight. Now here's the tricky part. I'm going to stop painting, lift up my brush, and then keep going. And then I'm going to rinse out my brush and go to my orange paint, keeping the same amount of water in it, and make that be orange halfway up. So it's like the sunlight is making that part of the trunk glow. Then I need to get my light purple, I'm going to call this light purple, and put some bushes. So I'm just making little circular marks with this round brush. And I want this color to really pretty much go all the way to the bottom here, but I don't want it to be solid. I want some little bits of orange to show through. And I just kind of make it come off to the edge. So that's the first one. And I see another one that kind of starts about right here, goes up this way. My big purple one's going to be right here. So this one will be starting about here. It's going to start higher than the one I just painted. So I'm going to kind of start it in this orange bushes. Again, I'm going to go up. I've got to make more paint already. So French and permanent rose. All right, so start here. That's too dark, a little more water. Skip. Rinse my brush out. Go to the orange and add the orange in and kind of blend it. And again, I want this value to be a medium value, both orange and purple. So it's tricky how much water you use. Now this needs to have little purple bushes here. So I'm just going to put some. It's growing out of a purple bush. And I'm going to paint with water. Dee's favorite. Now I have two light purple and orange tree trunks in. I'm going to go over and do this one here, the far left one. It starts, so I want to be careful I'm not starting exactly the same height as those two, about right here. It's purple. Goes up, I skip, and it goes out the top. Make a little more purple real fast. Go to my orange. Probably the hardest part of this painting is watching how much water is in your paint and your brush, because that's how you get the values. Now that one's got an orange center. And I'm going to go back to the purple and plant it with little brush strokes and some more water. There's a little path going through there, so I want to keep that. I don't want to block the path all the way. My tree trunk got skinnier as it went down, so I'm going to thicken up the bottom. Trees have to get skinnier as they go up. So I have 1, 2, 3. I need this one in here. So I have to think, where am I going to put that big purple trunk in the end? It's going to go right here. So what I don't want to do is make it go exactly in between these two. So if I put this one here, just slightly starting at the center and kind of going to the left a little bit, and then I put this purple one in closer to one of the other, it'll be good. So I have to think about these trunk placements, because I don't want the trunk placements to, when I end up with the big purple one in the front, it can't be smack in the center of these two. That one and the one I'm putting in now. So here comes, I think what I'm going to do is put this big fat one in closer to the one I'm putting in right now. So it's starting almost midpoint and going to, leaning to the left. So here it goes. Again, I stop and keep going. This one will be a little thicker when I'm done. Oh, that thick, okay. Get my orange in there. This one's a little brighter than the one so far. That's okay. And I blend the orange into the purple. So it kind of looks like it's glowing. And now I'm going to make some more bushes for this one. So I put in 1, 2, 3, 4 of these tree trunks that are light purple and orange in the middle. Now what I'm going to do, and 4 is an okay number because it's going to have this one big one, right, that's going to come up when this is all done. So we can get away with these 4. And they're all kind of at different angles, shapes. What I'm going to do now is take the same value, this meaning that it's the purple with the same amount of water, and I'm going to add some branches. Not as many as that are in this painting because it's just, I'm not that patient. There's that one, got a few. This one has a few up here. I want that one big branch to go across from the big purple tree last. Seems like a lot of these branches are kind of pointing down from some of these. It looks like a spider's. So I'm holding the brush so gently that it can't make a straight line because it sort of skips. And then my final touch to this is to take the same purple and add a little foliage to this layer. It's the same value. Kind of run out of paint though, so I'm not getting much. Okay, more purple. Okay, and a few more. Kind of wet now. Just a few of these. Put them down here too. So the next and last step is to mix up a lot of dark purple. So a bunch of French ultramarine blue, permanent rose, and to get ready to put up this big dark tree right up the off center. I have to pick where I'm going to start it. And then I'll need to put in some more dark purples at the bottom, some branches, and some foliage. But before I get going, I have to see that there's actually some glowing orange in the middle of this one too. Not as much as the others because it's closer to us. So I'm going to use my number 10 round brush. I'm figuring out where I'm going to start it. It needs to be lower than it needs to be the lowest of all the branches so far. So right about here. And I do not want to put it right between those two. I need to either go closer to one or closer to the other. And I'm just feeling like I'm going to go closer to this side here. So I'm going to start it here, kind of come close to this and make it bend in a little bit. So here I go, bravely. And I don't want it perfectly straight. I want it to and go like that, I guess. And now I'm going to charge a little bit of orange into this. Rather than stopping and painting it, I just added orange paint to the center of that. Now I'm going to take the bottom here and start adding more purples. So then there'll be more blue. I'll leave little bits of my yellow showing. I'll go back over this corner, making it darker. Just need to put a lot of purple in my foreground now. I am going to continue to paint some of these areas with water to soften it because I don't want any really harsh lines. I want it all sort of just flow into each other. I have a little couple spots where the sun is shining, maybe on some leaves or something. So it's kind of a dance of using water to soften the edges and using the dark paint to make it look like the foreground is in shadow. Just a little bit of both. Changing the amount of blue and pink in this purple in the foreground. So some places I want a little more pink, and some places I want a little more purple in it. Adding water. Trying to get a little path starting in this corner, coming up. Want my eye to be able to travel into the painting. So I want to leave a nice little orange spot here. Again, I don't want my corner to be orange though. Okay. So there's a lot of bushes. a lot of, this is a very bushy painting. Okay. So I've got the foreground, bushes and water kind of softened, darkened. And now what I want to do is put in a couple big, dark, not big, but thin, dark branches from this big tree. So I'm going to mix my paint up again, French ultramarine blue and permanent rose. And I want it to be the same amount of water as the original big old thick trunk. And I am going to bravely bring this branch across this tree and out the top. So I don't want to split my painting in half with it. I'm going to be up slightly higher than the half. And when I get done, I don't want it to be smack in the center. I want it to be over the center. So here I go. I start up a little higher than the half and make a 45-degree right over that tree. Have it get thinner as it goes up. Have some branches coming off. Of course, it should be getting where it hits the tree it needs to be its thickest. Okay, there's a big old branch. And now some other ones. I'm gonna go right over this light area. I'm just gonna paint up a little bit and out, make it thin. And this one's gonna be lower than the half or just have to be brave. Oh, it's scary. Some more of those. And just more branches from the big dark one. They're big dark branches. This artist has a lot that are coming down. A lot of scary coming down branches. That's in front. Now I'm going to take my sponge, get it wet. Now I'm going to get purple all over my fingers. I don't mind purple as much as I mind indigo. And I'm soaking up my purple paint with my sponge, and I'm going to add foliage in this tree. Kind of got splotchy. I need more paint. And again, I have to twist this every time. I have some water in there, so it's making some, it's kind of running and softening, but I like that. If there's a little branch, oopsie. There's a little branch here, it needs a few little leaves on it. And then I do see a lot of purple foliage up the side of this part of it so that our eye doesn't go out that way. And there's a little bit here too on this side. Put some into all the bushes in the bottom. Ah. I'm going to add just a little more foliage to this tree. Very nice, very misty, really good layers. You've got your really far back layers and each layer comes in darker each time. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Ah, it's really nice. Yeah.
But I lost the light kind of behind it with the spark.
Not much.
Not much. It's very dramatic. You've got some colors coming darker and darker as you come through. Yeah, it's good. A little higher. Oh, it's beautiful. I like the shape of that tree. And you're,
Oh, yes.
yeah, it's really nice. Good. It looks like yours is in rocks, not bushes.
Yeah.
And I really like how the colors go back softer and softer. You did that really well. That is,
Except I lost some of my light.
no, you got it. It's good. Really good. Oh, it's beautiful. It's so dramatic. Your lights are good. I love the light areas going in between the rocks. And your tree is very dramatic.
Oh, yeah.
All your layers going back and the light glowing on them.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Really good.
your light was good.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yours is kind of almost like a watery in the front of that. Like it's a little bit like being out at Marine Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
Yeah, your colors going back are really good. And your light area and your tree is dramatic. Yep,
Oh, isn't that lovely?
beautiful.
Other
So
trees going
delicate.
there.
Very different. Yeah.
Yeah, the little leaves, it looks like, I can't think of the name of the tree, but the ones that has the little leaves. I don't know, I can't remember it, but very nice sponge work on that.
Yeah.
And your layers going back. You know, it looks like most of the tree leaves have fallen off and they've been raked up into piles.
Yep, they're on the bottom.
Yeah,
They are falling.
yep. It's a beautiful little painting. Look at your oranges.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, your branches on that big tree are really nice. I like the one that's broken. It points right there. And your mist makes you want to go back, just take a walk over there and get in the light out of the cold, dark area here in front. Beautiful. Really nice.
Do you think the leaves on the big tree should be darker as well?
No, I think yours are good.